You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
That would be wonderful. We have Roger Stone now, of course, the great political guru, great consultant to many a president,
and
including...
it was his birthday the other day.
Oh, that's right. By the way, did you hear, Roger, that we sang happy birthday to you on the air? I don't know if you heard it.
I heard about it. I appreciate it.
Oh, the word was out. The word was out.
And he's much younger than me.
I share a birthday. With Lyndon Baines Johnson, who I wrote a famous book about. It's
yes.
quite ironic.
Wow, that is ironic. So as we're talking about presidents, what do you think we're going to hear tonight from Kamala Harris, who wants to be president but needs to have Tim Walz by her side for an interview?
Yeah, I think it's kind of painfully obvious. She hasn't done a full-blown press conference. She hasn't done a one-on-one interview with any serious journalist. They're hiding her the way they tried to hide Joe Biden in 2020 using COVID-19 pandemic kind of as the rationale. She can't speak impromptu. She can't speak extemporaneously. Her answers seem, in the few little pieces I've seen, a plane. She opens a notebook if she comes in contact with a gaggle of reporters and reads directly from the notebook. So she essentially has nothing to say. And then when she does say things, for example, her capital gains tax proposal, I've had two different economists this week tell me it would crash the economy. So I think this is the most controlled environment they could have. She has Tim Walz there like a support animal. She's going to be interviewed. They are going to be interviewed by Dana Bash. Her husband was one of the 51 intelligence officers who co-signed the letter saying that Hunter Biden's laptop had all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. A blockbuster New York Post story that was essentially wiped off the internet. This is going to be a situation in which Dana Bash will toss them softballs. Probably questions that they've had a chance to review in advance, as the CNN presidential debates revealed happened in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. So I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting the reinvention of Kamala Harris. Now, she's no longer in favor of defunding the police. Now she wants to cut the tax on tips, an idea that she completely ripped off from who? Donald J. Trump.
And also, Roger, she keeps saying what we've seen so far. Like you said, she has these canned lines. The one we've seen so far is, my values haven't changed. Like someone said, here's the line you need to say. And she keeps saying it. By the way, there are two reports out that are saying, and it's just two news organizations are reporting now that it came out to 18 minutes. We'll find out tonight because it's going to be at 9 p.m. But if this is accurate, apparently they were supposed to do an hour, but they somehow could only get 18 minutes out of it. What does that say, Roger?
Well, they have, of course, this spin they're putting out that she's spending more time with alternative media. She evidently sat down with a number of content creators during the Democrat convention. But I haven't seen that. What I've seen is Donald Trump moving into doing more alternative media, him doing more podcasts and so on, trying to reach younger voters, which I think is strategically very wise. You saw him with Sean Ryan. This guy has 3 million followers.
Yeah,
online.
the YouTubers. Right.
Most of them vote.
He's not afraid. I mean, he'll talk to anybody, and yet here's her one big moment to show the world she can command, and she's bringing, as you talk about, as her support animal, Tim Walz. Vito.
Hey, Roger, Vito Fasola. It's great to hear your voice. You mentioned the word reinvent, right? Have you ever seen something on this scale, a reinvention of a candidate of this at this age? If you're 25 years old or 30, but somebody approaching 60 about, have you ever seen anything like this? And what do you reading your tea leaves as you do so excellently, what do you see happening as a result of this?
Well, look, political leaders who don't change their views when new information becomes available, I feel sorry for. But when, in this case, Kamala Harris tries to pretend she had no part of the Biden-Harris administration, that she's now going to suddenly crack down and seal the border. She's going to hire, her words, hundreds of new Border Patrol agents. It's just not credible. Now they tell her, no, she wasn't in charge of the border. Well, I would concede to you that the title czar was probably made up by the media, but that Joe Biden gave her the authority and responsibility for the border was reported by ABC and NBC, who are now out there trying to rewrite history. So, no, she's trying to reinvent herself. She doesn't want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
For example, having U.S. taxpayers pay for health care for every single illegal in the country.
And Roger Stone, Governor Patterson has a question.
Roger, first of all, I owe you a phone call, but other than that, I wanted to ask you about preparation for debate. Now, I always found that when I had questions given to me in advance, which wasn't in debates, but it was for, a speaking engagement or something like that, you have a tendency to stick to the questions, to the information so much that your natural ability doesn't even come out. I don't know why anybody would be walking around reading from notebooks or anything like that at this level of a campaign at this point in history.
Well, first of all, Governor, I want to get you on the Roger Stone Show, which is on 77 WABC every Sunday from 3 to 6.
And it's a great show. It's a great show, by the way.
I want to get Governor David Patterson on for sure. But I think you're absolutely right. Look, her 20 was a dumpster fire. She has had a 72% turnover in her vice presidential staff. As you know, Governor, when people get fired in politics, they talk out of school, and there are horrific stories about her yelling obscenities and blowing up at her staff. When she makes mistakes, she blames the staff rather than her unwillingness to study and learn anything. She's a terrible candidate, but they are stuck with her. She was nominated in a process in which not a single Democrat voter voted for her in a primary or a caucus. She's a candidate of the bosses, if you will. So all the people who've been screaming about democracy, protecting democracy, nominated her in an extraordinarily undemocratic way.
Yeah, that's the irony of it all. Yeah.
Roger, thank you so much for coming on the show today, and we're going to have a great Labor Day weekend. I'm sure we're going to talk before Labor Day.
Great, John. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Belated happy birthday.